Okay, real quick, I just want to mention a couple of things here during this hunt. One is I'm hunting off the ground. Obviously, you can see that I'm not in a tree stand. One strategy or method that I like to incorporate is taking a foldable chair into the woods. The other thing is that I got behind a large cherry tree which hid my human form.
Okay, it's still really cold out here. It's probably about, I don't know, 8:30. I guess I could check my... No, it's actually 9 o'clock. And the hunt's over. I don't know if you can tell, but here's the blood. So, already been tracking him. He went a lot further than what I anticipated, but you can probably see him down there now. A lot of stumbling. More blood there, laid down right here. I know he's expired. It's been a while. That, folks, that's what you're looking at right there is a 2.5-year-old public land buck in North Carolina. Get him laid out here so I can get him field dressed. I gotta get him tagged. So, I got up here, sat down in my seat, and 15 minutes. I actually jumped 2 does. I don't know if he was with the does or not, but he actually came the opposite direction that they came in. I was actually hunting downwind from this position, so it was actually a crosswind with him because it was actually almost blowing at an angle. But he came right in, and I was sitting down behind or in front of a huge cherry tree, and he didn't have a clue I was there. But these are tremendous animals here, just incredible. This is a nice looking 8-point public land. I've been bow hunting. If you followed along, we've hunted quite a bit bow hunting, muzzleloading, sat through 2 days of torrential rain, and been using my bow. Been passing up bucks on some land I've been hunting, private land that I own that are probably about this size. But once I moved over on the public land, I was thinking, okay, second day in the gun season, you only got 3 weeks. You got 2 tags. You only have 2 buck tags. And I tried to hold out for a 100-inch deer. This is not going to be a 100-inch deer, but it's beauty's in the eye of the beholder. Tremendous animal. If you look at this deer, just a beautiful creature that God created. So I'm gonna get him field dressed and ready to eat. I'm in the process of dragging him out, and if you notice, I have retrofitted my sling as a deer drag. I walked off and forgot any type of rope or anything to drag them out. And when you're doing this by yourself and you're on public land, and you're anywhere from a half a mile to 2 or 3 miles back. Now I'm not 2 miles back today. I'm probably 3/4 of a mile, but it takes a long time to drag one out. So all I'm doing is carrying my gear ahead of me 100 yards. Then I drag him to the gear, rest. I drag him past the gear, then bring my gear up, and just keep repeating the process. So just keep moving my gear out and then drag him to it. It's going to take a couple of hours to get him out of here, but hopefully we'll be out of here before lunchtime.
Okay, it took me approximately 2 hours to drag the deer out of public land and get it into my barn. I've actually got it hung up, and we'll look at it here in just a minute. It actually field dressed at 140 pounds, which was a little more than what I anticipated. So if you use the 1/3 rule, you're looking at 170, 180 pound buck, which is really good for a 2.5-year-old, I thought.
Okay, this is the exact location where I shot that 2.5-year-old 8-point a few days ago. And went back and looked at my video footage. Didn't have quite enough footage to explain to everyone what I was doing and the whole point or premise behind why I set up where I set up. So I'm gonna let you look around real quick. If you look down through there, you're gonna see a hollow or a holler, depending on where you're at, where you live, what you call it. And there's a primary food source down there. So I know the does are working that, and I know from years past bucks use that area also to scrape in. So now if we go over to the east side here, this is actually the direction the buck came. And this is a main ridge, and what I'm on right here is a finger ridge. And it's a fairly broad finger ridge. But I got on this side, which would be more the south side, because it was 18 degrees that morning, and I felt like the does would probably bed on this side, on these south facing slopes. So I'm looking over to my right, and as the sun's coming up, it'll be behind me, so I won't be looking into the sun. That was another reason why I sat here, but also because this finger ridge goes up and connects to the main ridge, which is going down that way. And there's a bench almost directly straight up at 12 o'clock. There's another bench about 2 or 3 o'clock. Then all the way down at the bottom at probably 4 o'clock, there's another bench. So there's 3 benches on this ridge. And I know from experience and from scouting, if you watch some of those videos, earlier this year we did some scouting up there, and the deer were cutting around those benches. They're going to find the path of least resistance to travel. So I felt like this would be a good location to try to catch them, either coming from the west side or this east side over here. And then plus, as a bonus, I could look down into this holler here and catch anything that might be coming from behind me. The wind, I checked the wind that morning, it was blowing from the northwest. It was almost a crosswind. It wasn't completely straight downwind, but if they came that way, they wouldn't wind me, and obviously that buck that come that way, my scent was blowing down in there. So it may have messed up the holler, but I felt like I was also high enough up where my scent would blow over the top. So basically what happened was I came up here, and I think this is really critical, and I put my coveralls there to show you how big of a diameter this cherry tree is. I set up here because I brought my camouflage chair, just a foldable chair. I like doing that quite a bit. Just walk up here, areas that you've scouted, there's good deer sign, good possibility of finding a buck. And I just set my lounge chair here, and I just actually angled it where I can look down into that holler, look to my right, and then look at this finger ridge, because like I said, those benches over there. But the key here was the fact that this cherry tree is such a big diameter, it absorbed my human outline. So if you watch that video, when that buck came up, he's about 40, now he's probably 50 yards out when I shot him. He looked down this way momentarily, but he didn't see anything abnormal or unnatural. The human shape or human form in the woods is an unnatural shape, and they pick it up. So since I was sitting here and I had this big cherry tree absorbing my outline, he didn't get alarmed. So I think that's a key for you. Go in, get set up on these finger ridges, find your benches, find your primary food sources. There's acorns in here also, a lot of red oaks, but there's a lot of what we call hawthorn apple trees down here, so the deer can fit on those as well. But get in these areas and get set up. But once you get set up, find you a structure, whether it's a rock, boulder, a deadfall, or a tree like this cherry tree, as big a diameter as it is, and get set up there, and that way it conceals you. It will absorb your outline. You can sit there and stay motionless, and when they come in, they won't be alarmed. So I hope that was beneficial. I mean, that was a tremendous hunt. I just got in here. It was 18 degrees that morning, so it was the coldest morning that week. And I hadn't sat here 15, 20 minutes, and it came right on through. So it worked out perfect. As you know, I have hunted a lot this year, and if you watched a lot of those videos, I've seen a lot of little bucks, nothing mature. That was the first 2.5-year-old that I wanted to shoot. I'm on public land, so it's a public land buck down, and I took him sitting in my foldable camouflage lawn chair. So I was nice and comfortable. Everything worked out really good. I hope you enjoyed that, and we'll see you next time.